Hey there, everyone. This is Rao Cow. It had to happen. For some reason, there's what color am I on here? Okay, that's black. Yeah, there's no like games on. Okay, that's how it goes. There's no game on, on. One day I'm gonna be able to speak. It's gonna be amazing. There's no game that are in the top 5 on Newgrounds for the 25th, and so looks like I am. That's no. So basically, what I'm trying here is that AOD via Hitotamami made me discover this program called Paint Tool Psi. And so, I was trying it a little bit yesterday evening while I was with AOD, just a little bit. But afterwards, I said, you know what? I should probably explore this program a little bit more. Considering there ain't no games today, might be the perfect time just kind of explore this program here. Like, I'm used to Photoshop, which is basically, it's technically a program. Like, some people use it for, oh, that's what dilution is. Okay. Okay, I see. Photoshop is technically a program that is made for the act of eating chalk. No, to edit images. It is not technically a program that was created to create images, but to edit images which already exist. May they be, images, or sometimes, even images, but most of the time, photos and drawings and stuff. This, however, is a program more for actually creating images, as I am discovering right now. You can only see a part of the window. You don't see all the controls all over the place, and I suppose that's sort of, okay. So I want dilution to be low, this to be high, this to be something. I'm using words. There's also layers, which I'm apparently not using because layers are for people who have a lot of things to say. So yeah, this is a program called Paint Tool Psi, which is a Japanese tool of art making, but which was translated in English using science, and also, oh, there's a Sizo thingy. Sizo thingy! And you can change the shape, sort of. It's pretty wonderful if you are interested by things which could be considered wonderful. Okay, but if I don't want it to blend a lot, I put a low blend, and it makes something that is similar to something that you could call as being quite similar to something else, if you don't ask too many people, at the same time, because otherwise they might get confused a little bit. I'm not too sure what led me to create a tree, but this is like if you're doing art and not illustration, which there is a distinction. A big part of it sometimes is just to make a few lines and then see where that leads you. If you're doing an illustration, like if you're illustrating, if you have, the specific task of creating something in particular, of course you want to plan like a lot in advance. You want to know in advance what you're going to be doing. But when you're doing art for art, it's not something illustrators like to hear because it's very different to what they're used to do. But art is making a few lines, and then seeing where it leads you. See where you can go with that. Where does it bring you? And it's really more a voyage than an action, if that makes sense. It's to discover where exactly it's going to lead you. Think of it as a road trip. The road trip itself, sure, at some point you're going to end up at a location, but that's not the purpose of the road. No, the purpose of a road trip is the trip in of itself. It is not the act. Well, no, that's exactly what I'm saying. It is the act of driving. It is not the state of arriving, so to speak. Like I think that's fairly clear in its own special magical way if you're not careful. So yeah, basically I'm playing around with tools and seeing what it's doing for me. It's neat. It's neat learning a new tool though. I got all these crazy lines all over the place. Going, wow, it's a crazy line. Why am I talking? Why am I calling that a line? It's not like they're gauges and crazy things, and you can add a layer. That's crazy. Who do you even get a bucket tool? You know, can guy. Oh man, I got the bucket tool! Wow, it's a bucket tool! I can bucket all my tools all day! That is, if that's not your lifelong dreams, I simply do not wish to speak to you, basically. So if I was smart, I'd put that on top, and if I was smart, I'd lay that in the bottom, and then I would confuse and eat all the chalk, because I think that they are very thin chips somehow. It's kind of disturbing. So, still basically learning what different things are, because I seem to be doing... Now, the thing with illustrative program compared to editing programs, that sometimes, like, there's this weird sort of uncanny valley that happens, where it's like programs, they kind of want to imitate, you know, actual legit tools, but at the same time, they don't do it quite exactly. So, the end result is... it is what it is, you know. What am I doing here? I don't know. You know it's a weird like illustrative uncanny valley where it's similar but it's not quite similar enough, and that you know it is what it is basically is what I'm saying here. But so if I put more persistence, no. If I put less persistence, no. If I put less blending, oh ho, and if I put less blending and more persistent, I don't know what it is doing, but now I can draw a hat all day on people who may own a hat all day. No, I very much doubt so. I'm still, yeah, like I said, I'm still very much learning what all these different, like density, how does that change for me? How does that affect how my life will live? How will that, you know, call forth the heavens once I am in need of a large bucket that will look at me and say, hello, how are you doing today? Alas, the future is not yet at that level of science, and that's quite unfortunate, I have to say. So, I'm drawing things, you know, it might be a thing, or it might be something else. It is entirely dependent on how you prefer to refer to as things, you know. Some people call thing a thing because they do not know what else to call it, but some other people like to call it another thing because they do not know what else to call it. That made absolutely no sense, and I'm proud to have, you know, pushed it forward as a new voluptuous truth that can be eaten and enjoyed as a meal, but only by select people that I care to say hello to. So using the power of metabolism, I can have now nice lines here using this tool, the pen tool. What? The pen tool is better at making lines? That's great. Who ever thought of such a crazy thing? That is insane. Clearly you are delusional, and you should probably be removed from the premises before you hurt someone with those crazy, insane insinuations. Blarg. This is, well, yeah, it's a tool for drawing. It's pretty neat. It's not a game though, so people who are expecting some sort of game playthrough here, well, pretend that this is a game. You know, just make an like pretend I'm actually, you know, let's playing one of those. Oh hey, we are giving you an MS Paint interface, but because of the box on the box when you bought the game, actually this is totally a tic-tac-toe game, guys. You are only allowed to use this to play tic-tac-toe type games and absolutely nothing else. Otherwise, you are a miscreant and a person with a bad attitude, and you should probably say hello to your mother because she misses you, you know, alone in the dark. What is she doing in that video game? People, especially at a certain age, shouldn't go in video games. That's just common sense. But it looks like a lot of people forgot their common sense at the door. What am I supposed to do with that? You know, I can't be in charge of everyone's common sense here. I have a lot of trouble just keeping track of my own, yo, and also sometimes, you know, sometimes you're going around in a circle and you see another person, and you reply using a word that society has decided was the correct way to say hello to someone. That could be many words. It could be hello, or it can be hi. You know, it depends the size. If you're speaking another language, it might be a completely different word. I know, it's insane. Like, who the hell would have thought of that? Not me, and not myself, and especially not Vancouver. Cities are not very good at thinking. Just putting that out there for the knowledge. Wow, here it's white and here it's black. It's the exact same tool, exact same setting. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's just crazy. It's snow. See, there's a snowman. Well, it's a snow shadow. Man, it's very difficult to make a snow shadow. I'll tell you that. You know, I will also tell you another thing. This is the end of the video. This is Raocow just kind of exploring around this little program they call Paint Tool Sci. It looks very much easier to make images per se. Although it is a like every program, it is a learning experience, and as such, I expect to have learning experiences sooner or later. That's true with every single tool in the world. You know, there's nothing worth knowing that doesn't require some amount of learning to it. Because otherwise, if everyone could do it, what would be the worth? It'd be like breathing. Like, no one gets breathing medals. And I, for one, shall forever fight that as justice. Raocow 2012. Get that bucket ready.